Jacobs, you briefly mentioned the presumption of parental involvement. So yeah, the government, after lots of campaigning from colleagues across the House and both houses actually announced last week that it wants to repeal the statutory presumption of parental involvement. Just wondered for all the panel actually what your sort of thoughts are about that, and is it going far enough? Is it not far enough? The general comments.
I welcomed that announcement, not because I think alone it would remedy all of the issues that we've raised today, but I think it sends a very strong message and signal that the safety of children should be paramount. And I do believe that most actors in the criminal or in the family justice space do fully understand that. But it is very true that we do have some of this dysfunction still, or some of the kind of issues that are still arising. And it's an important signal to send. It would not be as impactful if we don't start to address some of the other issues we've talked today about, the kind of cultural changes needed. We haven't talked very much today about legal representation and the impacts of legal aid cuts, the impacts of, there's a QLR scheme, a qualified legal representative scheme, when people are representing themselves, which doesn't work incredibly well. There's a lot of ways that the court needs that focus, resource improvement. I believe that in the Ministry of Justice, so much is overshadowed by our criminal justice system and what we hear about in the news or the media. We need ministers within MOJ to feel how equally important these issues are. These are, again, decisions made within family court have lifelong impacts. And that kind of attention and bandwidth within government really needs to reflect that. And I don't believe it currently does. So you see a lot of the wheels in the system are not getting the kind of attention that they need. So it doesn't all hinge on kind of one decision as such. It's about many, many different things, I believe. And it depends. I mean, everywhere I go, every judge I ever speak to, or at family justice conferences or anywhere else, I ask this question: how much does the presumption, how much is it overriding, is in the front of your mind? It's very difficult. It's not written down as such. It's very hard to evidence that. But I do believe it shows a clear direction given that will be impactful.
Yeah. I completely agree. I'll be very quick. I think the evidence is really clear about what matters to children. And so we've published evidence looking at what kind of contact with family matters to children in terms of their well-being. And, you cannot have a one-size-fits-all approach. You have to have a very child-centered approach. The paramountcy principle is just that, and we should stick to that. So I agree with everything Nicole said.
I think I'd just add, I think if we asked 100 people on the street, should children be involved with their mums and dads if it's safe for them to be so, I think most people say yes. But this legal overlay that we had of presumption made it more complicated. So I think it is a welcome change to say right back to safety and welfare. Is it right or not? So yes.
One very quick follow-up, if I may. One of the biggest campaigners, Claire Fossil, as you'll know, unfortunately, sadly lost her 2 children to her ex-partner. With this change in the law, presuming you would agree that potentially is going to save children's lives then, right? Is that what you'd agree with?
I wouldn't sign up to that statement. I think why CAFCASS welcomed it is because the path is clear to assess safety and welfare and the best interest of children without the proof without having something that says prove otherwise, because the presumption is that the child will have both parents. I think what will save children's lives is people stop being abusive to their children. But the quality of the social work assessment, which isn't a science, it's a professional judgment in the end. But if that stands alone for the court, rather than a lot of legal professionals saying, well, you haven't proved, have you, that this is not good for the child. I think that will be a clearer conversation between the social worker and the judge.
I think she's an incredible campaigner, and what she's been through, and the loss of Paul and Jack. I mean, I think it's incredible what she's been able to achieve, and I believe, you know, it is about the whole systemic approach, the cultural change, all of those things together. I think that's essentially what she's meaning when she uses those words, and she should be very, very proud of the kind of 11 years of campaigning that she has put into, you know, very much spearheading that change.